This is the place to be, and the place to be is the Mac Attack Show. One. Get ready to twist and shout because the Mac Attack is about to make you move and groove. Sit back and relax. Let your mind ebb and flow as you travel on your yellow brick journey of fate and faith. I am Clyde Dowdy Jr., aka Cool Mac, the VPAD for Bowie State University, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, the fully transparent one, Jackie J. Mac McWilliams, the commissioner of the resilient CIAA. The Mac Attack is an uptown, downtown, crosstown stroll inside and outside of the resilient CIAA. J Mac, who do we got on the show today?
Good to see you, Cool Mac. You always come out hard and strong. I love it. It's like game time, and we're
Let's
ready.
go. Let's get this
We
done.
got two great guests today. Let me first introduce one of our student athletes, bowling athletes. She's a senior this year, Bowie State University. I've watched her play. I've watched her energy of her team, and just really thankful that she could join us today, Miss Diamond Carter. So welcome, Diamond. So glad to have you. And then we
Thank you for
also
having
have,
me.
oh, awesome. And then we have Tony O'Neill. We go way back to the Savannah State days, Division II. He went to Bethune-Cookman, and then he came back to the side of the CIAA. So we are glad to have him home here with us at Claflin University. So he jumped right in pretty quickly in the fire with our team. And so, Tony, welcome to the Mac
Thank
Attack.
you.
You are no stranger to the family, and so we're so glad that we get this time with you today as well.
Yes, indeed.
So,
Well,
Clyde, there we go.
yeah, let's kick it off with let's talk to Diamond. I think I know her just a little bit. And first of all, Diamond, talk about coming away from Buffalo and how did you get to an HBCU down here in Maryland? And what was that all about? What was that transition all about? And how did it impact you as a student, as a person?
Well, coming from Buffalo, it was a long journey for one. It was like I think it's a 6.5 hour trip from here to Buffalo. And I was doing my research about different bowling programs because I figured I might as well try and get a scholarship since I've been bowling my entire life. So I came across Bowie State University and I reached out to the then head coach, Coach Scott, may he rest in peace.
Yes, indeed.
And he brought me down and I tried out. I made the team, came down, and everything just seemed perfect. Like everyone was so nice, and it was just like a very family oriented, close knit group of people, the entire school and the team.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, we always hear, a lot of times at our schools, depending on where you're from, if you don't have HBCUs in your area, you won't know about. Clyde always talks about he's from New York, and HBCUs are not up in New York like they are in the South. And so for him to come and work for Bowie State, I think has been great for our conference and probably great for him as well. But for you to just research and identify a school that really fits who you want to be and where you want to go, I mean, that's great. That's a great story for other future student Bowie State or CIAAers or anybody who wants to come
Hmm.
to an HBCU. So thank you for choosing Bowie State and the CIAA, sister. We glad you're here.
Of course.
Absolutely.
She's
Hey,
a bowl stroller for real.
that's
Like,
right. That's right. Hey, T.O., we weren't saying you were on the wrong side of D2, but now you're on this side of D2. How does it feel your transition into the CIAA?
Well, like Miss said, it's like coming back home, and it's been wonderful. Been great group of athletic directors to work with since we've been working through this pandemic. It's good to see that we still attract some of the best and the finest student athletes across the country. And Diamond, to hear your story, being a former bowling coach, and for you to do the research and find out that those opportunities are there for women of color and take full advantage of it. And who would have thought when we started this thing in 2002 that kids would be getting scholarships to bowl at the
yeah.
intercollegiate level?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty big deal. I was on the committee on women's athletics at the NCAA. And at the time, we were trying to identify those sports that would attract more women of color. And bowling was a sport that came on the top of our list. And there was a couple, like, not equestrian, but there were some other sports. But bowling seemed to be that sport that would drive African Americans, we bowl. We loved I bowled when I
Yes.
started at 5 years old. I ain't never think I could go to college to play, but the door is open. And so what's interesting about it all is that the CIAA created, in it was my predecessor and former administration, to bring bowling as a conference, and the MEAC did the same thing. I think the SWAC has bowling as well. All of our HB and SI, all of our HBCU conferences have brought the sport of bowling because we want to attract more women, more young ladies like you in the sport in our conferences, and demonstrate that you can come to an HBCU and play the game that you love and do well.
And Commissioner, the thing that's we remind people of, it was because of the historical Black colleges conferences that
Yeah.
we were able to form the championship
Yes.
for women's bowling. If it wasn't for the women, the HBCU conferences bowling, we wouldn't have it, because that made up the majority of the group at that time.
Yeah, Tony, you're the chair of the bowling committee right now. And so
Yeah.
just what do you, I mean, that historical piece I think is real important because I think that gets lost in the whole story of where it started with. But how do you see the growth of bowling? What have you seen in the growth of bowling from HBCUs, but also for maybe even for minority women and girls? And what do we need to do better to attract students to our schools to play?
Well, I think just the opportunities with scholarships, that's the main thing. And from a committee standpoint, one of the things that we did this past year is we made sure that we provided the opportunity for all of our conferences to get AQs into the NCAA tournament. So with AQs, that means now you have a legitimate chance of competing for a national championship. And for when we first started, it was there, and we had some success. And I think Bethune Cookman finished fourth. UMES won the national championship a few years in a row. We
Under
started
Shannon, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then the tide started to turn a little bit. The other schools started seeing and started trying to take the talent, and level the field. But this past year and a half, when we got the AQs back, it's tremendous, because now, Diamond, you have a legitimate chance of winning a conference championship, and you're not just going home. You're going to try to
Exactly.
compete for a national championship, and that was huge for us.
Yeah.
And we had representation from the SWAC and the CIAA. Just so happened, all three of us, and I was the MEAC, were on the committee at the same time, spearheading this thing.
Nice.
So it's wonderful. It gives us the opportunity and get to showcase our talent, because there's a lot of great talent out there, and
Definitely.
you spreading the word. And then if you look up, when you look now, some of my former players, they're bowling in these major tournaments across the country, and they're running into people who played at other HBCUs, and they're forming their own group, at
That's
that
nice.
level, and it's just spreading the word. It's a beautiful thing.
Hey, Tony, you talk about talent, and Diamond has competed for 4 strong years and was a national champ. I mean, a CIAA champion 4 years in a row, which is a very tremendous feat for any student athlete to say they were conference champion 4 years in
Yeah.
a row. And we've won the CIAA championship 5 in a row, I think, and we've been in the NCAAs 2 years in a row, based upon what you just said as the AQ. So Diamond, I've been on the bowling alley, or been in the bowling alley, to see the kind of pressure that's on the lanes when you're out there competing, and to have to throw that ball and get that one pin or that spare, or pick up those strikes when needed. And I remember one year you just striked out and won. And Fayetteville has always seemed to be our nemesis there, side by side, as we have been competing.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how that feeling is.
It is a very, I don't even know how to describe the feeling. It's a lot of pressure, I can tell you that. But I try to calm myself down, calm my team down, so we can keep our heads in the game, because that's a big part of the sport of bowling. A lot of people think just because you're a good performer that you're gonna succeed, but it's a mental game as well. And so just being in the that environment with all the teams cheering and just all the pressure on you, especially being a anchor in the anchor position, It's a lot, but luckily I was able to do what I needed to do to help my team get to where we were. So
You know, Diamond, when you say that as a coach, your anchor is your quarterback. That's the young lady that's on your team that ice water runs the thing that race. You know, you don't. You know, your goal is 20 plus. It's no ifs, ands, and buts at 20 plus. And the thing that I like to tell people is the difference between an average, a good, and a great bowler is the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame. And your great bowlers are in the 10th frame, and they got to close the deal. And nothing else matters. It's 20 plus. You know, and 9 times out of 10, when it's a close match, that first ball has to be a strike.
yeah.
And look at you, girl. Look at you. See that?
Trust
Hey,
me.
Clyde, you see that? The chill, like, yeah. But it's a beautiful thing, and to know that I mean, that you understand that as an anchor, and
Yeah,
it's about blocking everything out and taking care of those 10 pins.
Hey Tony, I
exactly.
could tell you right now, Tony, she made the ice and put it in the water, and she stirred the drink.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Thank you.
Now I know why I can't ever win because my 8th, 9th, and 10th frame is pretty bad. If I get so good in the
You
first
just
and the
gotta
second, I'm
focus a
like,
little more. Focus
I
a
think
little
I
more.
won in the first and second, but that's not where you win. That's not where you
Right.
Right.
Diamond, I'm interested to know just, I watched the spirit of our bowling teams, and you guys are intense. I mean, the chanting, the camaraderie, but when it's time to play, you play, right? But there's also a connection outside of that. Can you talk a little bit about the connection of the CIAA bowling teams and your friendships or relationship outside of the intense game that you guys play during the
Mhm.
season?
Oh yeah, well, even though we're all going up against each other and we have the same end goal, which is a championship, it's more than just bowling. So we try to, and I think we succeeded just being friends outside of bowling. So with I know Virginia State, even though there are rivals, we still have a good connection. I still speak with a few of the players on the team. We just try to, because we all have the same, we're all in the same predicament. We're all student athletes at HBCUs. We're young women playing the same sport. So I feel like that connection there just allows us to have a relationship outside of the sport of bowling as well.
Love it. I love it. What have you learned about yourself? And I know Clyde is going to ask this, but I'm just interested as a woman of color, right? It's just me and you right now. I keep learning a lot about myself. What's important to me, I'm not paying attention to the guys right now. It's me and you, Diamond.
Right. We
But
might
as
block
a
them
woman
out.
of color, I mean, all the stuff that's happening in the world, like where are you right now? What have you been thinking about? And I read your bio, and the relationship with your mom and your grandmother is extremely important. So you're talking about a
Mhm.
strength of women, and you're talking about a strength generation of women, right? And
Mhm.
Black women who
Yes.
continue to fight and fight. And bowling is like that outlet. Sport is like that outlet. But when you don't have it in this moment right now, where are you? And what are you thinking
It's a little challenging because of everything that's going on in the world, and all the injustices that we continue to face as not only women but as a people. I just try to stick to prayer. That's the best thing that best advice that I can give is just to keep praying and just keep a steady head, knowing that things will get better, but we just have to work all together to make it better. So
about? Yeah,
yeah, that's where I am right now.
good.
Hey
Good.
Tony, as a fellow athletic director in the CIAA, and as someone who's been around a very long time in this environment, and what we're going through with COVID and being on the bowling committee, what are the challenges that bowling faces in COVID right now that we're all trying to work out so we can have a season and move forward?
Facilities. You know, it's not like football and basketball and volleyball where we own our facilities. We have to, partner with the community in order to utilize their center. And then the amount of lanes that we need, it doesn't necessarily pay the bills for the facilities. So there's that balance that they have to come up with and how to keep us safe and in an environment where we can compete and and then still make their money. And so from a national committee standpoint, you know, we lock in our sites well in advance, but we're going back right now, you know, and discussing, you know, fans and no fans, because again, they make the money off of concessions and things of that nature. So it's a difficult challenge right now, finding the proper facility that can be safe for you, you know, and that they have the manpower to wipe the facility down in between the sets. So we normally have two sets, a morning set and an afternoon set. So, and then you have the safety portion of the kids that wipe down their balls and things of that nature, but then it's cleaning the facility, not just re-oiling the lanes, but just wiping down the facility and spraying the facility. And so it's going to be a challenge. It's something that we're still working on, and we feel that we can make it happen. And each conference is doing doing their due diligence from a conference standpoint for the championship. But the biggest test is regular season.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to compete from a regular season standpoint, because again, you know, we've been to the Bowie State tournament. Actually, when President Obama, his second inauguration, we came to the Bowie State tournament and stayed over for that, you know. So, you know, but you know, Diamond, when you're trying to keep a team safe and you want your home center to support you. So it's a work in progress right now. Kovitt is something special.
Well, Tony, I'm going to talk to you as a fellow male, because we got kicked to the curb on the last question by Jay Mack.
You didn't get kicked. We just needed you to be sensitive to what our needs were in the moment. That's what we just did.
And I need you to be very sensitive to our needs right now.
Exactly.
You
We're
that?
always on your side. We're on your
Okay.
side.
So Tony, I was looking at your bio. You live with a house full of women, man. So tell me how you manage that, brother.
Well, it's real simple. I know my role. I don't wear the pants, I wear the shoes. I understand that I am the treasurer, and as my daughter says, the secretary boss. But the main thing, I'm the treasurer. You know? And I learned that some things you just can't win. You know, so it's not even worth fighting anymore. So you know. But as a man, it's one of the proudest moments for me, because you get to teach young women that and show them that they run the world. I mean, when you really look at it, women, you know, they're our backbone. That every major decision that we make, you know, that's the pillow talk or that side conversation. And I just try to empower my daughters, and being a bowling coach and coaching females, it was so rewarding. And I'm gonna tell you why. I had a student athlete who asked me to come to her class and listen to her presentation. And so I sat in the class and didn't know what to expect. And she said, my coach pushes us hard and he demands the best from us. And sometimes in the beginning, he didn't understand that no matter if we won or lost, as a woman, we give our best. And you talking about taking me back, Clyde? I was like, oh my God, you know, and that's when I became a better coach, because I knew, like, guys will take a play off because we feel like we can come back and get it. Women typically gonna go fight hard the majority of the time. And it's just, you know, I learned my role. My role is to say yes.
I love it. Diamond, so what he just said, I mean, you know, what do you hope what will you take away from your coach? And what's important to you as you drive other young ladies to participate in sport or bowl or go? What should they be looking for in a coach for their success?
I think in a coach that you should be looking for someone that will push you to do what they know that you can do, what you know you can do. Also, someone who is open to listen. It's not just like this is what you're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what to do. You need someone who's gonna listen to what you have to say. You can listen to what they have to say, and you guys can come together and produce something from both of you guys' standpoint. It's some like a relationship, if you will.
It
So
is. It
it's like a
is.
50-50 type. Yeah, I would definitely say that you should look for that in a coach, and just someone who you can have a good time with. Like, yeah, you are my coach, and you are over me per se, but we can still have a good time. We can still all mesh well as a team, as a unit.
Yeah,
So,
I
You
love
hmm
know, Diamond too. You know, as a young woman, how important is it to have the trust of your coach where you can talk about some of the most private things that you go through? You know, as a coach, young woman, I've experienced it all. You know, being the
hmm
one that go to the hospital with them or this, that. How important is that for you and the rest? Your teammates to have that.
I think it's very important because not everyone has like a father figure or a male figure in their lives, just in general. So if you have a coach, it doesn't even have to be a male figure, but if it is a male in the coaching position, I think it's very important for you to be able to talk to your coach as like regular people, like not as a team player to coach, but just like a person to person. So I think that's very important for you to have such an um,
it.
open dialogue with your teammates and each other. So,
Yeah.
Hey, Diamond, you're a graduate now of Bowie State University. You're Bowie Bold and Bulldog Strong. Uh,
hmm
Tell us a little bit about what you took away from your experience as a student, not just as a student athlete, as a
hmm
student, and that balance that you achieved with your education and what you're trying to accomplish now and your goals moving forward.
I took away that hard work does pay off,
Hey,
no matter what you don't want to do. Sometimes you have to do it, but it's gonna pay off in the long run. So, the times where I had to do homework on the bus, traveling to a tournament, or in the hotels the night before a tournament, like it does, it all pays off.
And what are your goals now moving forward?
Um, to find a good job and to start my life in the area since I'm moving to this area. So I'm trying to steadily build my way there.
Yeah. What's your career path? You want to coach? You want to come back and be an AD? You want to get in
I
athletic
would I would
administration?
love that. I would love to be a assistant coach or any kind of coach for the women's bowling team. AD, maybe, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah,
But I'm
We'll
well,
see.
that's
But
awesome.
no, yeah. I am currently working at Morgan Stanley as a business analyst, but
Nice.
um, I'm in the computer tech world. So anywhere in there, I'm trying to find my way, fit my way in.
and Jackie, she's an entrepreneur also too. She has a little cupcake business going on,
I
and
do,
I
I
love
do.
cupcakes. Do they tell you how
she
much I love
makes some great.
cupcakes?
She makes some great cupcakes. We bought some from her already, and the folks who had them, they were just and they enjoyed them immensely.
Wow,
Well, thank
congratulations.
you.
Nothing like entrepreneurship for yourself. So that's
yes,
great.
Exactly.
indeed. Yes,
Great.
indeed.
Good. Clyde?
Jackie,
We
well,
good, good. This is good. I
this
think
was
it's COVID has, I think, taken our breath and then given it back and then taken it away again. And for Clyde, Cool Mac, and I think this gives us a sense, some hope, of connecting with our family and checking in with you all. I think we're trying to make every avenue to connect with everybody that has been a part of whatever in CIAA. So
Right.
we
Nice.
really appreciate you guys. And Diamond, you're CIAA for life, so don't be a stranger with your school. Don't be, when you make all that money, make sure you give back to your
Of
school,
course, of
come
course.
back to our events and support.
Hmm
And hopefully, maybe one day you'll see coaching as an opportunity as well. So it's such a pleasure to see you. I'm just really proud of who you are and what you've done in the CIAA and at Bowie State.
and
Tony, we
as
love
we
you now.
yeah, we love you too,
Thank
Tony.
you. I
And as we
appreciate
wrap up,
that.
I'd like to hear, something we always ask all our guests during this COVID period. We all have found time to venture into things that we couldn't do while we were busy on the bus studying, or Tony doing what we do as athletic directors.
Right.
So, Diamond, what did you find out about yourself or do something that you just didn't have time to do prior to COVID when you were sheltered in?
Um, I would say starting my business. Like I felt like being at work all the time, it was in the way. And me working from home now, I can make cupcakes whenever. I can take orders. deliver them, people come get them. So I think starting a business was something that I was able to do during this time.
Tony?
Beautiful. Well, I think it gave me an opportunity to really see the part of my children that I was missing on the road. I mean, just the little things, being around the house, little knick-knack things that you know, the little things that you knew drove you crazy, but you're just so happy that you got your daughters and they're not mad at you or they're not trying to take all your money. Just put up with it. You're like, I love you, baby. I love you. But, just the time to just spend with the kids and the grandkids, I learned so much more about my children during this time. I had a couple of grandkids and the younger, see how close they become, as so just watching them grow, it is because I'm on the go so much, you just in and out, but watching them grow as a unit and see how they work together. And Diamond, if you got some sisters, we as dad know you guys work together to manipulate us.
Is it manipulation or is it strategy to get better outcomes for the family?
That's
Okay,
it.
strategy.
Well, that was well said, Jackie. That was well said.
Was.
I have one daughter and two boys, and she just takes charge of the house. There's no manipulation. She just comes right out and tell you, Daddy, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. You got it? Got it.
Right. You got to win. You're trying to win. So you got to have some strategy. It may seem like manipulation, but it's really strategy to win.
Okay.
And, and from a woman's perspective, it's well thought out. The boys would just come off the top of her head with some nonsense.
Right.
Come on. That don't make no damn sense. Come on now. But it's well thought out. And she comes to the point, and I can't argue with her. I can never argue with her because she shuts me down. And I said, Jessica, you're right. But I ain't going to let you win all the time now. So just get that straight right now. But, I really appreciate the love. And as a young man who was raised in a single family household by a mother, I understand the beauty of women and what they bring to the family. So it's a great thing. And I appreciate you, Diamond. Appreciate you, Jackie, for all that y'all do as ladies, as Tony alluded to, the leadership that you'll bring and the thought process. Like I said, it's well thought out. Y'all think beyond the process and understand the long-term impact that decisions have. So that's a beautiful thing. So, hey, Jackie, this has been a great show. The Mac Attack is rolling. Wrap us up so we can take it away, girl.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you all being here. Diamond, keep finding your voice. Find your voice and use that and use it to your opportunity to change and be the difference in the world, and use bowling as that platform as you've used. And Tony, we're so thankful to have you in our conference or back home. I love you and adore you to death, and you have already brought a lot of greatness to our conference with our athletic directors. And so we appreciate you guys. Be safe. Know that we're here. We love you. And if there's anything we can do to help you along the way, you can always count on Cool Mac and Jackie Mac, because that's what we do.
I love it.
It's a Mac Attack, y'all, and don't forget it. We heal.
Right.
We heal. Y'all be good now.
All right. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.